Yeah. Nice.
Hello, I'm Gwen Griffin. I'm the Executive Director of Old World Foundation, and I'm very excited because today I have with me Van Whalen. Van Whalen consists of Michael Whalen and Brian Mitchell, and they specialize in hits and B-sides from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This duo takes you on a journey from the musical playlists of your youth. And you'll be able to find information about them at whalenmusic.com. And that is spelled WHALENMUSIC.com. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you did. Thank you,
All
Gwen.
right.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank
Um,
you.
we are talking to them because they are going to be our entertainment for Sunset Soiree at Old World, Wisconsin on August 8th. So I'm sorry,
Yeah.
August 10th. I
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
different I have a different event on August 8th, and that was on my mind. So I apologize. August 10th, you can see it. I'm behind my shoulder. So um,
And
all
that's
right.
in the picture behind you, it looks like. That's me when I had my hair
Picture,
cut.
that's the yeah. So we are concentrating on the Pleasant Ridge exhibit at
Good
Old
for you.
World, Wisconsin, and we're hoping to raise $40,000 by the beginning of August for that. Um, so all very exciting. So without further ado, Brian,
Yeah.
Mike, why don't you tell me how the two of you met and how you started
Okay,
playing
so
together?
yeah, we were both out on family camping trips in Yosemite, and unbeknownst, we hadn't met each other at that point. But so we're both hiking, we're out on trails, and I'm out there with an acoustic guitar slung over my back, and I hear this roar, and it sounded like a pretty vicious bear, and then I heard this really wimpy little tiny kind of screams. So I went to go see what it was, and there was Waylon. He was about to be attacked by a bear. So I took my acoustic guitar and I beat it over the top of the bear's head. I broke it right over the top of the bear's head. The bear looked at me and was sort of disturbed. All I had left was my neck and my headstock, and the bear roared at me, so I shoved it down his throat and I yelled at him in my loudest voice, "Well, now that's redundant." And like everybody else, the bear didn't get my joke, and it just stood there and looked at me like I was nuts, and then it ran away. And that's how we met.
But he saved both me and my drum from sheer destruction.
That's it.
That's ridiculous.
Now, do you want to tell them how we really met?
I remember we met at a gig that I was hired on as a drummer and vocalist for with a friend of mine, a keyboardist, Derek Purcell, wonderful keyboardist and singer. And Brian and he had been friends for years and years, and he came to that gig with his guitar.
He's right.
So we played as a trio that night for some time, and that's where I first heard him and was like, okay, now I have yet another performer I need to know better and perhaps build something. So that was quite, I don't know, 5 years ago or something.
Something on that
And it
order,
took maybe a year or so for me to get the opportunity to
well, it's
have
COVID.
yes. But then things opened up, and I like playing with as many different talents as there are out there, and this was one I was not going to pass up. So I reached out to him, and he was ready to start putting something together with me. So we got this built for maybe 3 years or so. We've been doing it.
Yeah,
Building our harmonies, building our repertoire, and it's wonderful. I love the B-sides, the flip sides of the 45 albums, or the cuts that you don't hear other bands necessarily doing that often. And he brings a lot of that to the plate and reminds me of all these wonderful songs that I'm like, yes, that's a great one.
And he brings an amazing musician's ear to everything that he plays. So it's been a real joy being involved with Michael, because just like going from a regular drum kit going over to
the djembes,
right?
These, I play a lot of these
right.
different hand drums.
He's got so many different styles that he's able to work in, that it brings something new to old songs that we bring up, and it's really wonderful. One of the nice things about it also is we sing so well together. Here, I know we've got limited time, but let's see, we can work it out. Try to see it
my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can go on? Why you see it your way? You think our love may fall apart before too long? We can work it out. We can work it out.
Right. I mean, we just love harmonizing together, and you'll hear that song among a whole lot of others at the soiree.
That's not one of the rarities that I was referring to. People are like, wait a minute, I know that song. That's not that rare.
It's pretty popular. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
our guests don't typically dance, so our challenge to you is to get them to dance.
Oh yeah, that will change, and you'll want to. We're not going to force you to dance. You'll just feel the vibrations in the air, and you'll want to move.
Right.
I think that's what I've heard. I've heard that we put out a lot of energy for a duo, and people have responded to that very, very nicely.
Yeah, there are some people who also are like, you don't have a bass player because it sounds like you have a bass player. It's just because we fill it out. We try to fill the sound out as much as we can.
Sure.
This fellow also, I just want to put this in, is the Bob Seger sound-alike for a show out of Chicago called Motor City Meltdown, and it's all these Detroit rappers. And so you'll hear some Bob Seger songs that evening as well, and he sings just like him.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard because, like, if people ask me what my favorite song is or my favorite musician, I can't figure that out. So, I like so many. But is there a particular artist like Bob Seger that you like, or what would you say if someone asked you what's your favorite?
For myself, I would say my preferred influences change all the time. So, as in terms of a favorite, no. I've been asked that question. Who's your favorite drummer? Who's your favorite singer? And I'm like, eh. And then a guy at this last gig asked that, and I was like, it's so hard to answer. And he says, let me know a few of your favorites. And I was like, that's the way you ask it. Who are a few of your favorites, or who are a few of your best influences, or something like that? So then I go into this thing like, well, currently I've been really digging into Steve Gadd, the drummer Steve Gadd, who's worked with Paul Simon, James Taylor, and all these wonderful people. It's not like I've never heard him before, listened to him, but I get my study ears on and I dig into what that artist has done, or a vocalist, and then that passes, and I find somebody else, and all that brings the variety of songs to our mix, and so we get to mix it up and really show all these different beautiful influences that are out there.
Right.
Sure.
Right. My personal one would be Paul McCartney if I'm only going to pick one. But just to sort of cover some ground, I'm looking at a set list that will be playing on the 4th of July in the evening over at the Ridge Hotel. And it covers Stevie Wonder, Billy Joel, Paul McCartney, Seals and Crofts, the Eagles, Chicago, the Traveling Wilburys, Bruce Springsteen, the Eagles, Elton John, Looking Glass,
Dr.
Queen,
John.
Right? Yeah, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. So
those
we'll
are all my favorites. Those are all my favorites.
Yeah.
John Lennon.
Yeah.
Great.
Something for everyone, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm excited. Do you take requests?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Love to. Yes. Love to engage with the crowd and figure out what they're, certain songs remind you of others. And the thing I heard recently from people was they loved, like, I could see them sitting at the table and going like this as soon as we'd start a song. And I'm like, they're trying to guess the song within a few notes, which is a really interesting challenge, because they're like, oh, I thought that was going to be that song. And I'm like, you're right. They do start off on the same chord.
And sometimes they'll ask you for a request. We had one at one of our previous shows like a week ago or 2 weeks back. Somebody asked for I'm on Fire by Bruce Springsteen. And I hadn't done it before. And I thought, well,
why not
try it anyway? And you surprise yourself. I was able to really get in close to the microphone and put that breath, hey, little girl, is your daddy home? And just kind of emote. And it turned out really, really nicely. So it's become an ad.
Yeah. And some of those things, when they request it, that gives us the challenge. And it's a one-time only occurrence right here. You're requesting this song, we're going to do it. And we're all going to interact right here with putting this out for the first time. And then we're like, hey, thank you. That's a great song. And now it's part of our list.
And we just try to,
once in a while, we'll bust it out again or whenever.
Yeah, we just try to make it as special as we can.
We should figure out how many hours of material we have sometime, because we have hours and hours of material. So every show is different as well. I might add that. Well, you're not going to see us.
There are 1,042 songs in our catalog here.
That's ridiculous.
Holy
It's
cow.
ridiculous. But the thing is, they're all the same song.
Yes, exactly.
We just do them at different, we just do it in a different tempo
Yeah, different
or different
speeds.
keys, but it's
Right.
always, we can work it out. That's the only song we know.
Sometimes we sing them like this in a falsetto voice. Yeah.
I love when they do the chipmunk version of that song. That's the one that's
Right.
Yeah.
It's a big hit.
Oh, I can tell we're in for a fun night. It's gonna be.
Absolutely.
This is gonna be fun.
And it's
So you
beautiful.
mentioned, I'm sorry?
I said it's beautiful there,
It
Overworld,
is.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Love it, love it.
It is. It is gorgeous. And we'll be out in the Norwegian picnic pavilion. So we'll be undercover. But last year we had an absolutely beautiful night. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that the weather will be just perfect.
Beautiful.
Yes. Yes. So so you play at different venues around, well, I know you're around Elkhorn, Lake Geneva. How far out do you go? Milwaukee?
We will. Yes, yes. We've done some private parties in outreaching areas or suburbs of Milwaukee.
And the other thing is we've just, social media is such a big part of everything these days. So we've just developed an Instagram page. We've really sort of, we've got Facebook established. So, and between that and the websites, we're now positioned where we can work with a booking agent. So we're looking at working with TEC in Milwaukee, and yeah, that'll branch us out even further. And I'd also say that there's a pretty good chance that in addition to what we are as a duo, that we'll go ahead and bring in some other musicians and offer ourselves out as a 5-piece band too.
That's
So
awesome.
just everybody knows we're not anti-bass or anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fully. Like that'll add a lot.
bass
It'll
players.
add a lot. No, it'll yeah.
Well,
But
that
yes,
is
we play
awesome.
we play around the Lake Geneva area most often, but
Mhm.
different places, spread out. Doosterbeck's up here in Elkhorn,
Yep.
and Pier 290 in Williams Bay. Yeah. We got
Perfect.
the bottle shop today. We have the bottle shop in downtown Lake Geneva this afternoon from 4 to 7.
Hey, that's a good
Yeah.
plug.
Yeah, I forgot about
Hey,
that. But
smart
there you
thinking,
go.
eh? Yeah. Of course, by the time people see this, it will have already happened.
Oh, maybe.
Right.
Well, then we'll see you.
That's true. But
Yeah,
they can go
keep it
to
over.
whalenmusic.com, WHALENMUSIC.com to get a list of where your upcoming performances, right?
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, we know of
Awesome.
one for sure. It's August 10th. August 10th at Old World, Wisconsin.
That's
and
right.
that's the one you want to be at.
That's right. That's right. So, just a little bit about the event. We are actually in our fundraising campaign right now, and it's called our Chairs Challenge. And the chair of our board has challenged our supporters to raise $40,000 by the beginning of August. And those who donate at least $250 or more receive an invitation for 2 people to attend on August 10th, which is really a celebration. And you can see on the sign, this year we are celebrating a new vision for Black history at Old World, Wisconsin. So the funds will go into the Pleasant Ridge exhibit, which, oh, my thing's mirrored, but you can see the picture there. That's the United Brethren Church. And Olive Green Lewis was one of the residents of that community, and it was an integrated community. So filled with freed American slaves and also European settlers, and they lived and worked together until the community kind of dissolved in the 1950s. But it's there's really some beautiful stories, and Old World is hoping to enhance that exhibit and tell those stories and other stories, and just expand their, I guess, storytelling is what Old World, Wisconsin is all about. So there's always more stories to tell and to bring in of the different families. So so people can find information about this and how to make a donation on our website, which is oldworldfoundation.org. And any final words, gentlemen, before we end
Thank
for
you
today?
for educating thank you for educating the masses on that and teaching history.
And please get out your checkbooks and help out this event. It's
Absolutely.
a small sum for a big cause.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Well said, Brian. Well said. Well, thank you both. And until next time, we'll say goodbye, and we hope to see everyone on August 10th.
We
Yes.
can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Gwen.
Great, thank you.